Hey, it's Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it is Monday. It's May 8th. This will be our chart lesson for the day, and it's going to be short and sweet today, I'm afraid. Um, there's not much happening today. This is about really from right through here. I mean, really from about 9 o'clock, 8:30, 8:45 on. There's just not much happening. I mean, there's enough movement here to feel comfortable, maybe making a couple of trades, and then maybe only one after that. I just don't see anything that interests me that late in the afternoon. Um, so just not much happening. It's definitely a range day with a little failed break lower. We couldn't even get above the 50% level. Normally, once you test this 50% level a couple times like this, we're usually going to get a measured move down. And you can see we didn't get anywhere near that today. A lot of times you have to, you want to measure this from the closes too. It will give you a little more accurate reading. But even then we didn't. And generally when you don't get anywhere close, you have a pretty good rally, and we didn't even get that. So there's just nothing happening today. It's pretty weak. So, but let me back out just a little more, and we'll talk about these trades, and we will wrap the day up. This one was interesting here. If this would have been a little further, I mean, we're so close to these highs. You can see where we've turned down here time after time. So unless you get in here with enough room to get out before these highs, I'm probably not even going to enter that one. You might have looked at this entry right here. Notice there's a new low, and that looks like a failed second entry short. And we are looking for a retest, and that's a pretty good, fairly bullish bar. So you might have considered entering there, but I would want to wait on a higher low, to be honest with you, because this is like right in the middle of what looks like a range, and that's where you get burned more times than not. So, and then when you get to this one, there's your higher low finally, and you're right into the highs, so there's just not much room. Notice that we do have a break here and two legs up, and we found resistance again here. And you could look at this like this is a double test, but since we don't have a new high in, I'm going to wait for a lower high or a trap, and you get that trap right here. It shot up and then turns down. So I like entering that one, and you could have quickly ridden that one all the way to the other side. And so that's the first really solid trade of the day. And if you'd entered on this early one, you probably would have got stopped out unless you had your stop 2 ticks above it, which is generally how I like to do it. But then we notice we got a little channel working down here. I don't have actually that's my arrow. I don't have the other side of the channel on here, but you can see that, and you get a close outside, and you get two legs down to a new, you get attempted two legs to a new low. You don't quite get that new low, but notice that this is a failed second entry long. You're moving down first entry, pull back second entry, and it's also a new low, first entry, second entry. Actually, the second entry was right here, so this is more, but this is still all of the same move up. So this is still a legitimate second entry. And you could even look at this like a double bottom and then a first, second entry. So it's a fairly small bar. The only problem is there's not a lot of room to this low. So once again, if you got enough room, which you really don't, it still would have worked because it ticked lower. But the only way I would enter this one is I'd let it break lower here, and then I'd drop a limit order to see if I could get a tick or two better to make sure I had room. And if you did that, you were okay. You were okay either way. But with it not having any more room than it has there, I'm going to mark that one green. And then we come down and we get a first test of that level, and then finally we get a second test and a fairly bullish bar. So I like going long right there. We probably trapped some people. I really thought we would rally from here, but no, it just turns down again. And you get another small bar at the top. Now you got a double test of this level. Test 1, test 2. So I like going short there. And this time it breaks on through. And I was a little concerned about this trade. Normally I would tell you you probably could take this trade, but let me explain to you why I don't like this one. I meant to talk about this a minute ago. But notice how you've got a big move down, and then you've got a high, a lower high, a low, a lower high than that one, a lower low, and so we're making lower highs and lower lows. So I would want either a higher low here or um, a little trap, and you got the trap instead. You didn't get a higher low. But notice how we're bouncing along there, and we just can't close below that. And so you probably got some people trapped here. In the end, it doesn't look like it didn't really act like a trap in any way. So I don't know how many people were trapped there. I really would have expected this, but I think maybe what happened is the trap is actually to the long side. It worked, so you didn't trap a whole lot of people, but I'm guessing some more probably jumped in when it broke above right here. People that don't understand about failed breakouts and so forth, and they trapped everybody there. And look how that shot down fast. That shows you got people trapped or people trying to get out of the market. It pulls back and you get a higher low, so there's a breakout pullback short right there. But I'm probably going, it's too close to the low, so I'm probably going to wait on a trap, which you get that reversal pattern here, the failed second entry long, a fairly bearish bar. And again, it's a little breakout pullback short from this level, but you got to go short at the low of the day. So I'm not crazy about that trade, but there's, you might catch a measured move down. And so for that reason, I did mark it green. But when it turns back up right here with a fairly decent bar, you got to figure it's going to come back and test this EMA again. We hadn't been away from it hardly all day, so that's a pretty good move away from it. If this would have closed on its high and this very next bar broke higher, I probably would have marked that blue. But when this didn't break higher right here and the ends is a doji, that concerns me about going long right there. So that lowers the that increases the risk value and lowers the it just kind of takes away from that being a high probability trade. Turns out it works easily, but you don't know that ahead of time. So the right move was to treat that like an aggressive trade. And so now you want to just see if you get that reversal pattern and get back inside the range. And sure enough, there's your new low. Come back first entry, pull back second entry, a nice bullish bar, and you got a trend line working up there. You get it confirmed again. So I like that one. And maybe you ride this all the way to the top. But once again, it can't get hardly above this 23.94.50 area. So when I get you into the 3 o'clock, I'm not going to enter that mess that late in the day. I mean, that's just noise right there. There's nothing, there's no direction or anything. You did get a little bit of clue that it was going to go lower here once again. Notice the high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, second entry short. If that wasn't later in the day, I might take that trade, hoping to catch it back down again, because you could treat it like a failed break higher too. Let me extend my line out here, since we don't have much else to talk about. Notice how it gets back inside and holds there on that second entry. So yeah, that's pretty much it. 3 or 4 trades today, a couple of green ones, and there's just nothing going on. So yeah, maybe it'll pick back up tomorrow. We'll see. But today was pretty lame overall. Let me back out. I mean, really, we spent the whole day basically in a 4 or 5 point range right there. Really, we stayed within a couple of points most of the day. Most of the day, the price action was in this range right here, and that's 92 to 94. So 2 points. You got to be real careful trading that stuff. You really do. So yeah, I'm not going to beat around the bush and waste any more time. There's just nothing to talk about. So yeah, so if you couldn't find any trades today, don't feel bad, because there just weren't many. But we'll be back again to do it tomorrow, and maybe things will pick up tomorrow, and maybe by the end of the week we'll have a good week. So, but I'm going to wrap it up for the day. Actually, let me back up when I say maybe we'll have a good week. You still can make money on a day like this. I still hit my target today. I had to trade longer, and it took a while, but before the day was over. And here's the really odd thing too, is that notice that the last of the real good movement started around noon, and then from noon to 2 o'clock we didn't have 10 bars. That's not even worth sitting around for. So you know, don't hang, but you're better off just to get up and leave than to get impatient and make a mistake here. So just wanted to add that. I should have talked about that earlier. But I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.